I said, God, give me a warning. Please take me for the morning so I leave more disappointments than I ever will appointments.
Welcome to First and 15, the only podcast that's trying to get you paid. I'm here with two-time FFPC champ Abib. Alongside him is my guy, Dayo the Machine. Guys, before we even talk about this draft that we just did this past Sunday, I want to start off with news and notes a little bit to see if this has moved the needle for you guys. Specifically, when we're talking about players that are being drafted as high as Jahmyr Gibbs, has a leg injury. Listen, people were taking Jahmyr Gibbs back end of the first. I think he's kind of slipped to front end of the second a little bit. I think in our draft he might have slipped to the second, but still traditionally drafted in the back end of the first. Jahmyr Gibbs down with a leg injury. Does this move the needle for y'all in any way, knowing that we still have some time before week one?
Man, I don't know. You know, if you're watching the pod, I need you to zoom in on the shirt. Okay? I wore this shirt for a specific reason.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Chaos
You got
has
props.
ensued. Yeah. Okay. Chaos has ensued. It's not just Jahmyr Gibbs. We got Puka. We got contract situations. We got possible trade requests. And this is just the first round.
Yeah.
This is literally just the first round.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is what we love. This is, the excitement of it all. Just us not knowing what is going to happen.
Cinematic on this one.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know I wasn't ready.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
I like it.
I can't get enough of
level
it. You know, you said you love the chaos too. I love the
the time,
chaos.
man.
Yeah, we love the chaos because
Embrace it.
people get flustered. People don't know. Being able to sort of kind of just take in this information. Critically think through it, process it, and have actionable results that lead to a positive outcome is not an easy thing,
Yeah.
If you take said information like the Jahmyr Gibbs injury, you process it and you make the wrong decision, it's going to lead to a negative outcome, you know? Do you fade? Do you now acquire shares that his ADP has dropped? Do you look back and see, okay, what is his previous injury history? What is the data on hamstring injury? All these different things,
But come on. But come on, let's be real.
I'm using him as an example.
Saying, even what other injuries? Gibbs with us.
Puka
with us.
Malik Neighbors.
Okay.
Malik Neighbors.
So those three guys, literally the three guys y'all just mentioned. Personally, for me, if they're not falling a round or more, then it's really what's the big change, right? All that happened is they went from one side of the round to maybe the other side of the round. So instead of going, like I said, Gibb maybe going early second, maybe now he's late second, but he's still a second round pick.
But that's talking about value, though. Yeah. Let's talk about you individually drafting. Like, do you feel just as comfortable?
Remember,
Puka?
Personally. Okay, so you're asking two questions now. Gibbs, I wasn't taking much Gibbs. I felt like he was overvalued. The whole situation, I didn't understand why he was being taken so high. He was in a timeshare. David Montgomery actually played well last year. You know what I'm saying? There's still same guys in the system. And his could take, why keep saying his? Gibbs can still take that jump. And this is the year where you typically see that jump. And he has all the traits that you would expect that jump. I just feel like you're buying the potential without seeing it. And a lot of times they say, you can't wait to see it. I get it. But still, I wasn't just ready for that because he didn't convince me last year. Now, Puka, on the other hand, man, look, I'm still taking him.
Yeah.
I'm still taking Now
you're not taking this guy. So look, if you were taking Puka in the first, so you were taking Puka in the first.
But Puka was going in the back end of the first, right?
Yeah.
I think now he doesn't fall past the early second.
But this
is really the same type of team getting him,
And I guess I like it from a standpoint of you can create some unique builds.
Right.
When you have multiple injuries, so let's say CMC falls to the mid-second. Because we've seen that in drafts.
Wait, what?
Sorry, not mid-second, mid-first. Mid-first.
I was like, wait, I have not seen that. Let me get back
to
these. Let me get back to
these drafts. Stop the pod right now. We got a draft.
Where's my
Where's my I'll be right back.
I'll finish this up.
Y'all got this? No, say he drops, CMC, drops to the mid-first. Now with the injury with the injury news with Gibbs falls to the mid-second.
So you get that kind of unique
combo. So you get that unique combo of CMC Gibbs, and you maybe one of only two in the entire tournament.
The only problem with that, though, is, and I feel like you can get that maybe if you mass draft, like if you seriously mass draft. But if you just decide, okay, let me just hop in a draft with the expectation you're trying to build that type of build, you know how unlikely it is for that to actually happen.
It is.
You know,
It
like
is.
even though the news is there, you still gonna have people that are like, I don't mind. I'm still gonna get that value.
Yeah.
And then you just hopped in the draft for the sake of hopping, and then it didn't work out for you. You know, so
You know how unlikely it is to draft one team and win it all? It's possible. I mean, we've seen it done, but
didn't it happen a couple years ago?
it did. But I mean, it's an extremely difficult thing, you know. So
It is.
Yes.
But yeah, my point was just the fact that, like, for these injuries to matter to me, I want to see somebody like D-Hop. D-Hop is going like 2-3 rounds later than what he was going before.
Yeah.
So that's where you make the decision, like, do I believe in D-Hop and he's going to come back sooner? Or even if I'm not worried about when him coming back, is he going to have that much impact where it's going to be worth it?
yeah.
Or am I just going to avoid the whole thing?
See, I think there are two different situations. At least for me, I'm with you. I was not a Gibbs, stand. Like, I was not necessarily taking them. I definitely wasn't taking them in the first. Maybe occasionally I'd take them at the very, very back end, like, at the 1-2 turn. But for the most part, I've been pretty underweight on them. But I do see the potential league-winning upside with them. This injuries like this, for me, are actually just like, it's a win-win. Because it's like the injury occurred and I'm not overweight. I'm actually underweight. And the injury occurred and his ADP dropped, so now I can actually acquire some shares.
Where have you seen his ADP drop into?
I think I haven't seen it drop much. I mean, I haven't been in draft rooms probably as often as I've been just because of the move. But I think I wouldn't be surprised if we see it continue to drop a little bit further. Like if he, particularly when it comes close to the start of the season, like if he's still not practicing, like the week leading up to the opening day. That's going to cause a massive ADP drop, I think.
Here's the thing with injuries and just the way the community as a whole think about injuries. Yeah. Are we really playing for week 1 or are we playing for the end of the season playoffs? Because even if he does, because again, it's a hamstring, right?
Yeah.
So typically you try to rest it as much as possible because those can be re-aggravated. Yeah. So even if they just hold him out or take it easy from him all the way up to week 1, even if they just say week 1, we're just going to keep you out. Like if you know right now week 1 Gibbs is out. Yeah. Are you going to drop him that much?
Yes, because look, and I hear this argument. I think it's valid in certain reasons, but it's the opportunity cost. Why would I take Gibbs? Say I had Gibbs ranked ahead of Jonathan Taylor, and now Gibbs is hurt, and I say, well, he's only going to miss one game. I still see the upside. I need to have Jonathan Taylor significantly lower my rank. So to me, it's an opportunity cost. Like, okay, and there's going to be a point where he drops so far that I'm like, okay, yeah, I would be fine with him missing 1 or 2 games because of the upside.
If I told you he was missing week 1, bump it. If I told you he was missing week 1 and week 2, how far? Like, if he was just free falling, you had every pick. What pick would you feel comfortable taking him?
He would probably be in the third round. He would be like in the third round.
Three what?
Probably like I'm taking him probably like after guys like ETN, Kyron, because all those guys have warts.
So 3 what? Like 306?
Like 303, 304, 305, 306, yeah. I'm taking him ahead of Derrick Henry just because I'm not high on Derrick Henry. Yeah.
Mid-third.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm also taking him that way because I know I have, there are guys later in the draft, someone like a Chuba Hubbard or a number of guys that you can draft later on that can kind of get you by. Because you're not taking a zero there.
Out, you have everybody's healthy right now, right?
Yeah.
Like you have the depth right now. As the season progresses, and again, we always say this is a game of attrition, you start realizing week 9, 2 of your backs are hurt. Yeah. 1 is a game time decision, and then your options are limited. You know? But right now, I feel like it's the perfect time where you literally have everybody available to you. Yeah. And you can withstand that week 1 or week 2,
Ultimately, it's up to you. Like if you have Jahmyr Gibbs, he's like your number 3 or number 4 running back right after the big 3. Yeah. Like he's your number 4. He's a mid-first round pick. You just think he's going to absolutely explode. Then you buy the dip.
Yeah.
But if he's but if he's in that, if he's in a large tier, then you move him way down the tier or maybe even out of the tier. Like why? Like why? If there are other guys you think are comparable, why would you just say, you know what, his 80, like you said, his ADP dropped 3 spots. Yeah. Did you really gain much by? Probably not.
You
right?
just shifted him on to a different.
Why take on the risk?
And for people like me and you who were already kind of not all in on Gibbs. Yeah. Now we need his ADP to drop even further for us to even consider because we didn't want him in the first place. So whatever.
All right, so since we're talking about drafts, I want to talk about the draft that we did Sunday. Guys, we did the Listener League Sunday.
Wait, we're not even going to talk about preseason at all? We just going to
we got to talk about preseason.
We can talk about preseason. Let's talk about the draft.
Oh, okay. Okay. Sorry.
We'll incorporate preseason talk.
I wasn't in the show planning meeting. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Pre-production, man. Show up to pre-production. But let's talk about the draft a little bit because Pretty good turnout. Everybody in the chat really enjoyed it. It was a really fun draft to be in.
You can go back and watch it too.
Yeah, unique builds here. I mean, we had like a bunch of 2 tight end builds, but just overall, let's talk about just how different it is drafting with people who are constantly like watching fantasy news, constantly like sharp fantasy players. Was this draft difficult for you guys anyway?
Well,
no,
for me,
I love it.
And I'll let you just go on with it. For me though, it wasn't about that.
Yeah.
It was about drafting with people that know me.
Yeah.
That's what made this draft for me.
Yeah.
Because most times I'm in a room, nobody has any expectations of me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm drafted however way I want. I'm like, nobody knows the people I like.
Yeah.
While this room, like I know when Abib took Dontavian Wicks.
Yeah.
He looked at me like, Dayo didn't get him.
You thought you had a chance. Huh?
So that's
you
my
thought
thing.
he was dropping to you.
I was trying to draft knowing that if there's somebody I well known liked,
Yeah.
that person might not drop back to me because people know. But anyway, Abib, go ahead.
No, I 100% agree. Like, you know, you're drafting against people who are potentially like listening to, you know, the majority of your shows, listening to your takes.
Yeah.
You know,
And you put out rankings.
I put out rankings.
Well, he's about to take this guy. Cool.
But, you know, for me, I mean, like, it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, you know, we talked about tiers, so you got large tiers. So somebody takes somebody, like there's plenty of other guys out there. But to me, it's also an opportunity to diversify.
You're right.
Yeah.
You know, people force you into, you know, so like eventually somebody's gonna fall. Like all your guys are gone. Like you're looking at this guy, like, man, I really don't like this guy.
Yeah.
You know, maybe there's a chance he may, you know, he's not because I have very few guys that I just completely fade. So it's like maybe, you know, I could see a chance. I could see a chance of him actually, you know, breaking out this year. All right, let this be the draft where I take
That
him.
whole thing he just said,
Yeah.
we're going to reference that when we talk about my draft.
Yeah.
Okay, that whole thing he just said right there. If you go ahead back and rewind and hear what Abib just said, we're going to reference that
rinse,
so far.
repeat.
Now let's talk about that for a second because both of you guys had some picks that were controversial. I want to start with Dayo on
I
this
don't
one.
feel like any of my picks were controversial.
That Malik Neighbors
Controversial?
pick was a little controversial, but let's no. Let's go to Dayo first because the
First
entire
pick,
chat.
let's start with the first pick. We're going to go pick by pick or we're going to...
Not pick by pick. I want to jump all the way to round
Bro,
4.
let's go pick by pick. Like, why are you worried about that one pick?
Because
We can
that's,
go pick by-
that's the pick that everybody wants to talk
But you can't
about.
go to that pick because I have to explain the whole draft to
right.
understand how I got to that point.
Hey, let the man
All right.
explain the
All right.
draft.
So you went CMC.
We should
with
go
your
through the
first
whole
pick.
draft. Put the draft up so I can see it, please.
All right. So let's put the draft board
Okay,
up.
put the draft board
All
up
right.
so I can see it.
So
I
you
was the
went-
first pick.
Yes, but you're the
Okay,
first
so
pick.
I'll start.
Blood on the
All right,
leaves. By
so-
the way, you didn't have that up before.
No, that's for team name. That's for team name. Damn, I forgot I put that up there. So I had the first pick.
Yeah.
All this whole since last week we were talking about whatever. I knew I was taking CMC. Like,
Yeah.
there's really nothing that could. And it was even easier knowing that the consensus number 2 guy had issues.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
See, there's nothing CD's doing that's making me say, man, I should take CD number 1, unless I felt that way already.
Right.
His situation seems worse than C-Mac in my
Right,
opinion.
right. And Brees and Bijan haven't made that leap in my mind yet. I mean, you can say it was a safe pick, but whatever. I don't care. I'm fine with being safe on that player.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And by the way, when we started the draft, I didn't pick. I think I was like 40 seconds in before I picked.
Yeah.
Or whatever. The only reason I was doing that so people can jump in the draft. I was ready to pick.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I took C-Mac. So that was that. So, what was number? Abby, you were number 4. Mm-hmm. So you took Bijan.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
y'all want to go pick by pick? Or you want me to say my whole draft?
No, you just talk about your draft.
Just
My
talk
whole
about your
draft myself.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I took CMC, and then when it came back to me, and I can't really see too well. I wanted to take a receiver in the second round. That's
Yeah.
what I wanted to do. And we've talked about this in shows in the past. I'm still high on Kyron. I honestly don't understand why Kyron is ranked so low for somebody to finish number 2, remain in the same offense, a year further in the system, still a young guy, right? I know the concern about Blake Corum. I know that's a concern, but I'm not concerned.
Me either.
You know, I just feel like that Rams offense is jumping, and he's going to have many scoring opportunities. And at that point, everybody knows this, or people that listen know this, I love Devon A-Chain, right? So I saw A-Chain sitting there,
Yep.
but I also wanted a receiver. I didn't want to go running back, because that's just ugly to me.
Okay.
So the question was Cup and A-Chain or Kyron and Waddle. The problem is, I mean, the reason why it wasn't going to be A-Chain and Waddle is because they're same team and the same thing, Cup and Kyron, same team. So I just like, I like Kyron. I love A-Chain, major upsides. Think he's the best running back in the league, but I just like Kyron in his situation, so I went Kyron and Waddle.
Yeah.
But then after that, so then fourth round was coming.
All right, let's talk about that.
Okay, so this is the pick you want to talk about.
This is the pick that the streets are talking about.
Stephon Diggs. So,
Streets
it's
wanna
real
know.
simple, right? And people know I love Tank Dell. People know I believe Tank Dell is wide receiver 1 for the Texans. I mean, y'all saw what he did in his last preseason game. Like, he made believers out of people that for some reason weren't believers before. And I was just looking at it like, that's Tank, right? That's what he does, right? But so it was real simple. Like, out of every draft I've done, and I've done a fair amount of drafts, out of every draft I've done, Stephon Diggs has been a 3rd or 4th round pick. Like every single one, right? And again, I'm a value drafter. I'm at 4'11", I'm sorry, 4'12", 5'1". Diggs is sitting right there. The guys I really wanted actually were taken right before him. I wanted DK Metcalf, DJ Moore, and those other guys. He was the highest ranked receiver on the board, and I wanted a receiver there. So I took him, just simply because of value, right? Tank, it was way too high to take Tank.
Yeah.
I have a lot of Tank right now. I was getting Tank when he was in the 6th round, right? Or the early, the late 5th. Taking him at 4'12" or 5'1" was just too high, and I just felt like that was just me trying to prove a point, And I don't have much Diggs at all. So, like, again, going back to what Abib was saying earlier, that gets to a point where it allows you to diversify when you're in this type of draft, No player is totally off your board. I personally think Diggs is going to have a really good season. I'm actually, if I was to rank the Texans, I actually rank them Tank, Diggs, Nico, which is totally opposite than the way their ADPs are.
Yeah.
So I didn't mind to pick it off. I feel like it was a value pick. So that's why I went Diggs. And then who was my 6th pick after Diggs?
James Conner.
James Conner.
Well, actually, Amari Cooper.
Yeah, Cooper. I'm high on Cooper. And we've talked about Cooper plenty of times. Like,
Yeah.
Cooper, I feel like it's undervalued. Yeah. Then the rest of the draft, it was just value picks.
Yeah.
I don't even remember my draft. I took Stroud because it was just a correlation play with Diggs. I don't have much Stroud right now. I'm actually high on Pat Freiermuth, like we were discussing last week.
Yeah.
Freiermuth is actually in a situation where he can be the number 2 target for that team.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like point blank period. And don't forget, Arthur Smith is the OC, the same OC that made Jonnu Smith look like a thing last year.
But couldn't make Pitts look like a thing. But
Pitts might just have an issue,
That's fair enough. Fair enough.
So yeah, that's what's there. And then the defense, I wanted to get that first look situation with the Ravens and the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So I was making sure I get a fair amount of those guys. And then the rest of them, I was just trying to build my depth. So, yeah, man, the draft is cool with me. I like my team. There's a few players I wanted, and I don't want to speak on them now because if we do another draft, I don't want people sniping me.
Which looks like we're getting close.
Yeah, I don't want people sniping me.
Yeah.
So I definitely, there's some players I kind of wanted that I wasn't able to have an opportunity to pick. But I do like the way it turned out. So.
All right. Abby, would you end up going Bijan first?
I love my team.
Yeah.
My team. I love
bell
my
cow
team.
running back, or expected to be that bell cow running back?
Yeah, first round, mid first round, like those top 7 guys, top 8, top 9,
You just pick.
top 10.
Just pick anyone.
You kind of pick anyone.
But talk about this.
Yeah, I mix it up a little bit.
Because I'm sure you consider him. If you haven't, I'm curious to know why you haven't.
Yeah.
But there was a point where Brees was your number 1 running back.
Oh, I have tons of Brees.
Right. So, okay. So the reason you took Bijan because you just have already a lot of Brees.
I just got tons of Brees. Yeah,
I
got tons of Brees.
I thought maybe you flipped them. I thought maybe Bijan was ranked higher for you now.
I think Bijan is my 101.
So you have flipped them.
They're close. They're all close.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bijan, CMC, Hall, they're all close. I just try to grab, based off of like the way the drafts are going right now, because ADP has CMC at the 101, I know that if I want some CMC shares, I got to take him at the 101.
Right.
Same thing with Bijan. Right now, Bijan has been, he started to kind of fall back a little bit recently because of the Algier news, but at one point he was like 102, 103. So I had to take him there. Brees was falling to the 105, 106. So, I play it, by ADP to make sure I can try to have equal or somewhat equal percentages of each one.
Got you.
Yeah.
So who'd you take number 2?
So,
so
the
that
neighbors
was the
pick.
controversial.
I don't think the neighbors pick. Maybe the neighbors pick is a little controversial.
That's right.
Yeah.
You took neighbors.
So I like the upside pick. I know that's kind of a default saying. I would have taken Olave over Neighbors there. I don't mind Adams. I feel like I have a pretty good sense of what Adams is, but I just really dislike taking receivers on bad offenses.
I don't think you had a chance to take Olave. I think Olave was
I would have taken Olave. I just don't like wide receivers on bad teams. Mm-hmm. So
Olave's on a horrible team this year.
Well, no, I think
Saints
I like the OC.
Okay,
I like the OC. Oh, yeah. I should say I think the OC is an upgrade.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the OC is an upgrade.
And I also don't think that Derek Carr can play any worse than he played last year.
Doesn't matter if he's trash. Derek Carr has supported multiple wide receivers.
Yeah, no,
so
I got you.
I just need him to support Olave. That's it. Yeah. And I think Olave is going to be heavily targeted in that offense. Okay. Mm-hmm. So I like, and Olave, falls to the third a lot now. I just been scooping third round Olave up as much as I could.
Olave's falling to the third now?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So,
yeah, it is.
So for me, like, Neighbors is, yes, he could potentially be in a bad offense, but I still feel like the offense is really going to probably go through the air because I don't see a bell cow running back. They, thank God they didn't just lose Tracy for the season, but they don't really have a bell cow running back. Daniel Jones is coming off an ACL. I think he'll still run some, but he's coming off an ACL injury, so he's not just going to be running amok like he was in previous years. And I think it's going to be well schemed. And why, I'm going to put a little bit of faith in Dayball that he is going to try and get his best player, his most athletic player the ball. And he's going to do so in a variety of creative ways.
I think you're playing a dangerous game, man.
It's a dangerous game, but it's one that if it hits could be massive. But the way that I view Neighbors is that it is definitely in the realm of possibility that he is has a 28-30% target share.
Yeah.
So he's one of the last few wide receivers that was available who could really, who's a true alpha number one on his team without any, alpha-like competition.
Yeah.
All the other guys outside of Adams have alpha-like competition or are their team's wide receiver twos.
Yeah.
So that's why I view Neighbors. I also took Neighbors because I knew that in the third round I was going to be able to get a number of my guys. So
I think Neighbors would have came back around.
That's what I was going to ask. Like, you don't think Neighbors would have been there in the third?
Neighbors would have been there in the third, but I would have been upset if he wasn't because I want more shares. I want to be overweight on Neighbors.
I got you.
Yeah. So
it was a form of diversifying.
Exactly. It was a form of diversifying, knowing that I would have been happy with a number of different guys that were there to me in the third. Okay. So it didn't matter. Like, if I took Neighbors in the third, then whoever I took in the third, I would have taken in the second. So I just need to make sure that I got Neighbors. And the guy that I got in the third was going to be whoever.
So who did you get with the third?
I took Debo.
Put that board back up, Chris?
Yeah. So in this draft, we haven't mentioned it much this year, but in this draft, we always tell ourselves, you got to be able to tell yourself a story. Mm-hmm. If X, Y, and Z happen, this team is just going to explode. Yeah. And the story here is that Brandon Ayuk gets traded. And we don't know what's going to happen. What's going to happen.
But if he does,
it seems like maybe things are probably going to work out where he's going to stay with San Francisco. But based on my current rankings, that's pretty much where I had
J.K. Dobbins.
Yeah.
So what?
Yeah, right before I was going to take him.
I'm saying, you know how much you hated J.K. Dobbins this summer?
I was going to take him.
Hated him? Have I hated him?
You have hated him.
I have not hated him.
Me and Chris have talked up Dobbins. You literally said, I'm not touching the dude.
Yeah, I did.
You literally said, I'm not touching the dude that just came out.
Yeah. But hey,
he took him because he knew I was going to take him.
More information. So he's kind of growing on me.
I didn't realize that. Okay, my bad. That hit me like, wow.
Yeah, he mad about that.
Kittle is starting to creep up a little bit. Yeah, George Kittle is starting to creep up because.
Yeah. So again, I telling myself a story that Ayuk gets traded. So I wanted to. So I took Debo. Kittle? I got Debo and Kittle.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize
that's otherwise I don't like taking two San Francisco 49ers receivers on the same team because I feel like it's week to week proposition. But if Ayuk is out the picture, it makes it, I think, a little bit more, potentially anyway, more consistent.
So who'd you go with the quarterback?
This guy's becoming one of my top values in drafts right now.
Not Purdy?
Definitely not Purdy.
Oh,
I think people are absolutely sleeping on him. I think just because, we kind of get lulled and kind of get put to sleep with when players aren't like in the news, when there's like no hype train. And the fact that like I'm able to get a Joe Burrow in the 10th and 11th round is just mind-boggling to me. So, everybody's now high on Jaden Daniels, okay? So now I probably have to fall back. I'll still, continue to acquire shares, but if I'm going to see if I'm seeing Joe Burrow go after Jaden Daniels and going like 2 rounds afterwards or going significant, like I'm going to get Joe Burrow. And one of the best things or one of my biggest reasons why I love Jaden Daniels and why I was like, why he's like my highest owned quarterback is because I could just wait till everybody took their quarterback and then I would just take Jaden Daniels. I would wait till everybody took their quarterback, fill up my skill positions, and then I would just take Jaden Daniels. He was always the leftover quarterback.
Right.
I was like, this is the perfect leftover quarterback, and then I would always just sort of kind of compliment him with the.
So you didn't want him this draft?
I did. I would have been more than happy. So if someone had taken Joe Burrow ahead of him,
you would have been cool with
and Jaden Daniels was the 11th or 12th quarterback, I would have taken him then. That's the quarterback game I play. Okay. Unless one of these high end guys really falls past ADP, then I say, okay, let me go ahead and grab my share here.
Okay, yeah. Chris, what about your draft, man? Who'd you go with?
I love my team as well. Went with Jamar Chase.
Put the
in
board
the first.
up, please.
Yeah, went with Jamar Chase in the first round.
Okay. Look, and put the board down. Put the board down real quick. Yeah. We've been talking about CD for a little while in his situation and how it's kind of funny in the light. We haven't said one word about Chase's situation.
And he's not in camp either. Yeah.
Exactly. Well, he's in camp. I guess he's holding in.
He's holding in.
But he's not. And like we've literally not said one word about that. I feel like that's a thing.
I do not like it. I don't like it for any of these guys.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I do not like my your wide receivers, especially guys who are moving around a lot, running a lot of plays, just being out of camp and then just showing up a week before and then starting to play games. I feel like that makes me nervous from an injury standpoint. That makes me nervous from like a guy just picking up a hamstring, the first week, and the guy just being out of sync. Oh, he's got to work his way back, so he's playing half a snap. And again, it kind of comes down to like opportunity cost, like. Okay, you could also just taken Amon-Ra. You could have taken Justin Jefferson.
Well, let him explain. What was your thinking, Chris?
I feel like he's the better talent, though. I feel like Jamar Chase is the better talent over Amon-Ra. I feel like he's going to be in a better offense.
Yeah.
I feel like that Lions offense is going to take a step back because they overachieved last year. So I like taking Jamar Chase in the first round.
I don't know about that one.
I also see T. Higgins is being kind of phased out a little bit as well.
What?
Yeah.
You feel like T. Higgins is being phased out?
T. Higgins is going to be phased out. Like he's going to be just like T. Higgins is going to be just like when
he's saying that with some gusto in his.
Saying that with some
because I kind of saw it with Buffalo last year with Stephon Diggs. When we were talking about Buffalo last year, I said, "Hey man, like Josh Allen doesn't like Steph Diggs, man. Like that's why like his production has declined is because Josh Allen is just not throwing him the ball, right? Like so that's why I actually think that Stephon Diggs is actually a value where you got him because I still think that he's really good, but I digress. So I like Jamar Chase with that first pick. Chris Olave, I told you, like I'm really high on him.
Oh, you got Olave?
Yeah.
Okay, put it back up. I'm sorry.
He's sniping.
Yeah.
He's sniping.
Okay. So like I'm really high on Olave because I don't see Derek Carr playing any worse than he did last year. They didn't really bring in anyone who's going to take targets away from Olave. So I like that pick. I didn't want to go 3 receivers in a row.
If you were to do 3, who would you have taken?
I probably would have went Cup.
Yeah.
I would have had to go Cup.
I was considering taking him in the turn. I really was.
Yes, like I probably would have took Cup there because you know how I feel about McVay and game planning for guys who are actually on the field in camp. That's why I think Puka did so well last year is because Cup was injured and he pivoted to Puka. I think Puka is talented, but I think he game planned around Puka because he was the body that was there.
Everybody to just keep in mind Puka did break the rookie record for receiving.
I got you.
Like regardless of all situation bases and all the caveats you can throw out there, he still did something nobody ever has done in NFL
but the
history.
thing is Cooper Kupp did the same thing in a situation where when he was the only guy there.
But he wasn't a rookie. I'm just talking about the fact that in most cases you would assume players improve over time, right?
How old is Cooper Kupp?
31.
Okay.
Yeah. And Puka's like 23, 24.
Okay.
I think it's I
31.
Despite I got you. Despite the season that Puka had, I still
31.
think that Cooper Kupp's season was more impressive.
No, I agree with you. I like Kupp.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was. I mean, it was the greatest. It was the greatest wide receiver.
But you got to add some more to it because he was a rookie. So like that's what I'm saying. So like I'm comparing like a rookie having that kind of season versus an all-time veteran season.
Oh, I mean, I definitely think Cooper Kupp had the better season. I don't care if you're a rookie or not. He had the better. He the greatest all time.
That's the greatest season in NFL history.
That is you
from beginning to end.
That's Cup. Cup wins that. I'm not arguing that. What I'm arguing is he's 31 and he's like had multiple injuries for multiple years now. So could he do it? Yeah. I mean, was he injured last year and that's why? Yeah, I'm not disputing any of that. He's going to come into the season healthy, potentially. I don't know. Like, I doubt that he's 100% what he was 2 years ago pre-injury. Okay,
so you're down on him a little bit.
I'm down on him a lot.
Okay,
just because I just 31, multiple injuries. I don't know. It's just tough.
I'm glad I didn't take him at the turn. You would have been talking bad about me.
Right.
No. He's you know when like look, you know we all have those players that like we think to ourselves like, man, if I'm wrong on this, it's gonna hurt.
Yeah.
This is the one guy. If I'm wrong on this, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt. Yeah.
So you didn't go Cup. You went Henry.
Yeah. I ultimately went Henry. He was the best.
You should have went Cup. You should have went Cup.
Like
should have went Cup.
Like Derrick Henry was the best running back left on the board. To me, I like the touchdown upside. So
you don't like Pacheco?
No.
You don't believe in Pacheco?
I'm not even sure Pacheco is going to be starting the entire season.
What?
He may lose that. He may lose that job.
To who?
To who?
He runs through a closed door, man. Like
I know, but who's better?
They can get anybody to fill Pacheco's
Apparently
role.
they can't. They definitely can't get Clyde. Clyde can't do it.
No, I don't know how Clyde is still on the roster. Look like he has some dirt on somebody.
He's on the bubble out here.
I mean, like I don't know how he's still on the roster.
But Pacheco will probably catch more passes. He'll probably have more touches.
I don't think he catches more passes. Or
what about Josh Jacobs?
I don't mind Josh Jacobs, but I still don't see him.
The only knock I can say about Pacheco is the Chiefs might decide they want to throw the ball a lot more. They might be on the FU tour.
You know what?
And if that's the case,
that to me is like something that something's not lining up here. We're drafting Kelsey, and we're starting to draft all these wide receivers, all these Chiefs wide receivers, and we're drafting Mahomes so high, but then we're also drafting Pacheco so high. Yeah, the offense could be explosive.
Well, that's not true, though, because we're not really drafting these Chiefs receivers.
Yes, you are.
Really high.
You're getting Kelsey in the second round. You're getting Rasheed Rice in the sixth. Marquise Brown was going in the sixth. Now he's going in the seventh a little bit. Now Xavier's coming out. But Kelsey is your number one wide receiver, is what I'm saying.
Right, but that's not like a situation where, like, if you're in Miami and you're drafting Waddle in the third, and you got A-Chain in the A-Chain is early third as well. You still got Tyreek in the first.
You got three guys. You got three guys. They're being drafted high, but you got three guys mostly, and you got Mostert kind of at the back end of that.
Right, but like what I'm saying is, it's really only Kelsey who's the only receiver that's being drafted like in the first 6 rounds.
Yeah, but you got 3 other Chiefs receivers who are going in like the top 7, 8 rounds.
Yeah, but
and Kelsey.
I mean, when you start getting around 7, 8, like we're starting to get into some.
But I'm just saying, kind of going along with what you say, like with where let's just not even look at the receivers. Let's just look at where Mahomes is going. Mahomes is being drafted in the 5th round. ADP is in the 5th round.
That's crazy. Yeah.
So what other quarterback, like that doesn't, and he doesn't run. I mean, he runs a little bit, but it's not like he's like, the Josh Allens of the world. Mm-hmm. So he's being drafted in the 5th round, and his running back is going in the 3rd round. Somebody's not going to hit. I'm in agreement with you there. Mm-hmm. Like one of these ADPs is not going to work out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
One of these ADPs is not going to work out.
That's the only knock. Like it got to somebody's wrong.
Yeah.
And if both parties are right, then we're going to see one of the greatest Chiefs seasons we've ever seen.
Absolutely.
In life.
Absolutely.
And that's exciting, I guess. So okay, so my bad. So another throw for Thunder. So you Henry and then
DK Metcalf.
Wait, did you explain Henry at all?
Yeah, I mean like touchdown upside, like running offense.
So
traditionally, I get this is a different offense, and they want Lamar to throw the ball more, but I think that they felt the sting of that last year and want to get back to basics and run the ball a bit more.
Okay, so this is where, to me, I think projections plays a role to put things in perspective. Mm-hmm. So you say touchdown upside. Mm-hmm. To you, what's like? Okay, he hits this number, he's gonna pay off at ADP.
10+ touchdowns.
Don't give me 10+. Like, give me a number.
I just gave you a number 10.
He's saying give an
you
exact
said
number.
Just 10?
I'm saying 10+.
Okay, but what
exact number? What's
like
the plus?
12, 13? Just throw a number. It could be high. You can upshoot.
All right.
You can upshoot. We're gonna do an exercise live. No.
Realistically, let's say 12 touchdowns.
12 touchdowns. Okay. 12 times 6 points.
No, go up to like 15. Go to 15.
You want me to go 15?
15.
Okay,
15 is a lot.
I go to 15. 15 touchdowns, right? Mm-hmm. Okay. And then how many total yards? Just throw out a number.
1,100.
1,100 total yards.
Yeah.
Okay. 1,100 total yards.
We're talking about a good season, right?
Talking about good season.
Good
Yeah.
season.
Okay. 1,100 total yards. Okay. And then how many receptions?
20. Yeah, 20.
20?
25?
No, that's too much, actually.
No, not like
Let's
20.
say 20.
20? Okay.
What's that average? That's like 2.5 a game? No, that's like 1.5 a game.
And then how many? And so was the 1,100 also including his?
No, give him about 300,
just...
300 receiving yards.
300 receiving yards. I don't think the whole running back room last year got 300 receiving yards. And don't forget they got Justice Hill. But I'll give him 300.
Okay, give him 150. Give him 150.
I'll give him 300.
No, give him 150.
Okay, give him 150. Okay.
Because you're right, they do have Justice Hill.
Okay.
We're doing math on the pod.
You know how many fantasy points that gets you?
215.
215. Go ahead and sort FFPC or any PPR ADP and look at running backs that got you 215
The reason,
points.
obviously, is the lack of receptions, right?
That's why I'm saying it puts it in perspective. Because at first I was with you. I was like, man, Derrick Henry's just going to, like, he could just have a monster season where he just like gets 1,800 yards. Yeah. He gets 18 touchdowns. Yeah. He gets 350. He scores 200 touchdowns. Then you can hit it. But when you say it out loud, like, that's what he has to do. Yeah. And so in PPR leagues, it is just, I mean, it to me is very hard. And then
that's a good point.
That's like not even think about the fact that like Lamar is a rushing quarterback.
Y'all hear that? That's Abib free falling Derrick Henry's ADP across the fantasy landscape right there. That's crazy. No, that's a good point.
But you're not gonna get killed in the third round by taking him if he's like your safe. But like,
there's some good players in the third round that end up like smashing this season.
I just look at other running backs that go later, and I'm thinking to myself like,
I'll say this: I think this is the lowest we've ever drafted Derrick Henry in a long time. Yeah. So I think he's being drafted on his way down. Yeah. From what we've been accustomed to. So
we might have really undershot those receptions too. But that's
really, how many receptions did you get last year?
No, like I'm just looking at like what 20 receptions really is. Like,
but all you gotta do is look at if you go go by team and look at like the running back receptions.
Don't even go by team though. Yeah, I think the biggest reason is the fact that Justice Hill is most likely going to have a big role. And he might have that passing down role.
Absolutely.
So if they strictly make Justin Hill the passing down back and Henry's just the thumper or the first two down runner.
I mean, Pacheco had 44 receptions last year.
But who else do they have?
But look at the offense. So that's
true.
I get you on the offense,
but it's not even Justice Hill. Like that's an aspect of it too, because him playing third down and whatever, and playing hurry up.
I don't believe
and it's not even just the Ravens' offense either. Yeah. It's you have a rushing quarterbacks. Rushing quarterbacks for the most part don't check down as much. They don't. We know that, and we know Lamar specifically does not check down as much. So it's not even just rushing. You can just look at Lamar just by himself.
Man. Stop killing Chris's pick, man.
Keep going, because this is refining my process. Keep going.
Yeah, but that's to me like where projection, because I actually did that projection. I was like, I kept going up on his yards too. I was like, damn, how many touchdowns and yards he got to have before it's starting to look good? Yeah. And like basically he has to be a bell cow. Yeah, he has to be a bell cow. Like he needs to see 300 carries. He needs to score double-digit TDs.
Team with Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and if he does that, he'll pay off his ADP and more. No, but if he's not a bell cow, man,
that's a good exercise you just did right there.
That's fair though. That's no. That's actually good. Really fair. Last year he had 36 receptions. The year before that, 41. Mm-hmm. We can't count 2021 because he only played 8 games, but he had 20 receptions in that season. Yeah. But that was only through 8 games. But yeah, I mean, outside of that, like early on in his career, now granted, it seems like he's catching more passes later in his career, but that's a good point.
we have to just take in the fact that he's switching teams.
He's switching teams, so that's gonna be tough.
A lot of that's hard for us to like really take into account.
Absolutely.
And in his best season in 2022,
hit me too while you there.
398. Yeah.
I've been looking at the way.
I saw you looking. I saw you. I got you. I see you looking.
Hit me real quick.
Top you off a little bit.
So we don't got to keep on Henry. So the next pick was DK Metcalf. And again, that's the guy I was hoping was going to fall to me.
Yeah.
I would have definitely taken him over Diggs easily. Like, it wouldn't have been a question.
Yeah.
And I think us as a whole unless Abby, you changed, but I think that's as a whole
I love
higher
DK.
on DK Metcalf this season. I think he's one of the most undervalued players in drafts right now.
Yeah.
But I don't know where to put him. I don't know where his exact value is,
Man,
you know?
this is a faith-based pick. This is a faith. I can't give you a lot, you know.
Yeah.
Ryan Grubb coming from college, like, you know, did he call? I don't even know if he called the plays, but you know, was that really his offense? Like, and we're hearing that they want to bring that, but like this ain't college.
Right.
You don't have the same offensive line. The fact is, you know, Seattle offense. I know
the
they
same talent advantage.
Yeah, I know they bring in some guys, but like, is the offensive line that good?
Yeah.
So there's a lot of question marks there, but I do like the fact that Jackson Smith-Njigba played in the preseason and DK did not play in the preseason.
DK nor Tyler
Lockett. Tyler Lockett played it. So I really like that. I love that Kenneth Walker didn't play in the preseason. Yeah. People were kind of, questioning the Kenneth Walker.
Right?
Yeah, he's some guy that I almost don't even want to say this on wax right now, but
Hold off on it. Yeah.
Well, sorry.
Come back next week. You might say that. So okay, that's cool.
But no, like that's fair.
Any other picks you want to speak on?
And then I took Tank after that.
Oh, Tank.
Yeah.
When I didn't pick him, because I guess people thought I was gonna pick him.
Yeah.
Is that what people thought?
Well, like I think people thought that you were just
took him
gonna
over
value
Diggs.
him.
Yeah.
Because you did say he was the number one.
I do believe that.
I think you regret not taking.
I don't.
Okay.
Because first of all,
You got plenty of Dale.
I have a lot of Dale.
You got a lot of Dale. Okay.
Right, and it's just weird, right? And I guess it's the curse of drafting early.
Yeah.
But once you get a guy at a certain value at one point, it's hard for you to just even if you know his ADP is going where it probably should be, it's hard for you to now say, okay, I'm gonna take him.
It's like I don't even want you no more.
Yeah, it's like, I already got you. I used you already, right?
Oh wow.
You left up early. Now you coming to me like I don't know you. I know you. You're a 6th rounder, man.
I know you. Bro, you're a 6th rounder.
Don't try to play me, man. No, you're a 6th rounder.
Stay in your league. Stay in your league.
So yeah, man.
You're a 6th rounder.
I'll say this, man. Just picking from the one hole is not easy, man. Like I know it sounds great, and I guess you get the opportunity to see man, but it's just so not only just because you're kind of boxed in, but you have to wait so long till you pick again, and like if there's anybody even anywhere on the screen of that queue, they're not making it back to you.
Yeah.
I will tell you, early in the draft season, even midway through the draft season, it was easy to like go robust RB or like not even take a wide receiver with your first 3 picks. Now it is extremely hard because all those value wide receivers like the Chris Godwins, even the Calvin Ridleys, the Deontay Johnson, these guys that were getting in the 7th and 8th round, all are going by like the mid of the 6th round. So when it comes back to you at the end of the 6th round, you're looking at like, even Rashee Rice has moved up the board. So you're really having to make, I'm in a main event and I saw a guy who basically was just forced to take what's the wide receiver? Lab McConkey. He was forced to take Lab McConkey and Jackson Smith-Njigba as his wide receiver 2 and 3. Maybe it works out, but I don't want to put myself in that situation. Knowing you got to understand what the ADP is now too. So you got to really understand what the ADP is.
I was surprised Connor fell to me at the end of the 6th. I thought Connor was going higher than that. Like I felt like everybody was kind of reaching, I guess, on receiver because I wanted a receiver there as well, right? But it didn't work out the way. You got to learn how to pivot, right? So it wasn't no big deal. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, guys.
No, wait. Before we go, you got to explain you taking that second quarterback. You took A-Rich and then you took Dak 2 rounds. Was it 2 rounds later?
So people keep thinking that Dak is the bad pick. That's not the bad pick for me. The bad pick was taken.
So where did you take Dak? What round?
All right, so I took Dak in round 10.
Bro, there's gold flakes in this thing. Y'all knew that?
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
So I took
the good stuff.
I took Anthony Richardson in round 7, but then I took Dak in round 10.
Yeah.
Okay.
The pick that was the bad pick was Anthony Richardson.
No.
That's the pick you didn't want.
That's the pick that I didn't want.
No.
That's the pick that like I didn't have any shares of him. And I was thinking, all right, I don't really
That's a good pick.
It's not a good pick. I don't believe in him. I didn't have any shares. And so I took that pick because I really didn't like any other running backs that would have, I would have had to. Like, I don't want Jaylen Warren. I really don't want Montgomery. I don't really want Pollard because I don't like that situation with him and Spears. So like I was like, all right, like maybe I'll take a share of Anthony Richardson.
But the problem is once you made that decision, you're supposed to like go all in. Like you're supposed to go that route now.
Who says that though? But like why?
Okay, look, I'll tell you this. 1 year in a tournament, okay? Yeah, you want to win this league, but you also are in a tournament. You're trying to win it all. You're trying to win $1 million, right? So things have to go right for you, right? So I'm not going to fight you with Anthony Richardson being a bad pick if you feel like he is, you don't believe in him. But you made that pick.
Right. You married him.
Let's say that was a bad pick.
So that do you part at that
Let's say that was a bad pick. The Dak Prescott pick for this particular team, because you didn't even have this team.
You eliminated one of your picks.
This team had some needs. The Dak Prescott pick was an even worse pick because now you're handicapping yourself. You're crutching your team. You're minimizing your team's upside, and you're basically telling yourself the story that, okay, yes, this is I got Anthony Richardson at value. I don't believe in him, but I got him at value. So if he does take off, I'm gonna have a 7th or mid-7th round Anthony Richardson share.
No, I'm even saying like this.
You're disregarding that now and saying, okay, this.
I'm even say like this, right? Yeah. Say you're right, and Anthony Richardson is nothing, right? He's a bust. Your Dak team now, compared to all the other Dak teams, they all have a 7th round pick that is giving them value somehow. Yeah, that they're utilizing. That's fine. While you have the Dak team that literally has a hole in your 7th round, so that's going to be hard for you to overcome.
That only matters if you believe that your team is going to hit on all.
You don't have to believe that. You don't have to hit on everything.
You don't.
That's the point that I'm making.
You don't have to, but you want to believe that.
Yeah, but
you're in a tournament.
You need to increase your odds.
Right, but if you've already made the mistake, the issue is not staying with the mistake that you've already made.
The problem, but what me and Abby are saying. First of all, what me and Abby are saying is you don't know if it's a mistake or not.
You don't know if it's a mistake.
I don't. But I believe because it's all about the belief.
Honestly, that to me, I think in previous years, like that was something that I would lean on, and I think that's something that you could lean on, where you could say like, I'm gonna take a stand on this. This guy is a value. This guy is gonna win.
On this side of the fence, like y'all, what are y'all doing?
But the reason that I was able to do that, or the reason I felt like that was successful, because I feel like the game was a lot different. Just NFL in general. Forget about fantasy football. NFL in general was a lot different. You had bell cow running backs who had clear handcuffs. You had clear wide receiver 1s and clear wide receiver 2s. Yeah. Now everything is muddied. Yeah. Everything is muddied.
Real foggy.
Like everything is real foggy. You have wide receiver 1, 2s, and 3s and 4s. Yep. You got a team like Green Bay with Dante. You don't know who's the number 1. Right. You don't know who's the number 1. You got so many running backs by committee. You don't know who's the number 1. So your confidence level, like this is the most humbling year I've ever done before. Mm-hmm. I've never felt a need to diversify more than I've had in the past than this year, because there's no way that anybody can tell you for sure that Tony Paul is not going to significantly beat his ADP, or Tajay Spears is not going to significantly beat his ADP, or
you can literally tell a story about every player.
So nobody, I think, who's drafting in FFPC is just doing one draft. Okay, right. People are doing multiple drafts, even if it's on multiple, different formats. Man, that's why I said it multiple times already. I feel like you need to
not just stay down that road and then just use another draft.
I'm saying eat it. No, I am saying eat it. I'm saying once you make that decision, you not have to commit to it.
James Winston eat it.
You not have to say for this team to be successful, then this A-Rich pick has to hit. That's what I'm saying. And once you now make that decision, you now have to build the rest of your team in that manner. And if you don't like it, then hop in another draft. But again,
I don't believe in that.
I mean, okay.
Especially once we start to get into those rounds. No, I don't believe in that. Because the thing is, yes, I was light in running back. I had Derrick Henry. And so.
Who's your running backs?
Derrick Henry, Zach Moss, Jerome Ford.
And then he took Dak Prescott.
Zach Moss is your running back too?
Yeah.
Oh, you're in trouble.
All right.
No, I mean, I don't have a knock against Moss. It's just that he's in such an ambiguous situation right now.
You don't think Brian Robinson with Austin Eckler?
No, I think Brian Robinson is a clear number 1. I think you'll argue people that will say Chase is. I mean, what I'm saying, I don't think that's an argument. Well, I think there's a Chase Moss debate in the community right now.
And I think there is a Brian Robinson, Austin Eckler debate as well. Like
I don't think there's a debate on who's the running back 1. There might be a debate on the role.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't think people think Brian Robinson's not the starter.
Chris getting defensive about his team now.
No.
I'm not trying to knock your team, bro. I'm just saying.
I just think that when we come back and we look at Brian Robinson, and don't forget when we talking about running backs, y'all the same people who told me not to believe in Cooks last year.
Who said that?
I remember it's on the wax.
Wait.
I was talking about
Chris.
That wasn't me.
So I'm not even going to argue. I'm not even going to make that argument, right? What I am, if you were to take Brian Robinson as your running back 2, I would still kind of say you're kind of shaky.
Yeah.
What I'm really trying to say is your running back 2 slot is going to need to be addressed.
Yeah.
Either those guys you have to hope they hit, or you're going to be working most of the season trying to fill that spot with a waiver wire or somebody you have deep on your bench.
And that's what I'm saying is I feel like you should have prioritized like high upside guys. You got the Derrick Henry. Okay, that's you're banking on Derrick Henry being your workhorse. Now you need to just sort of kind of prioritize making sure you can find a guy who can come in and give you RB2, potentially RB1 numbers.
Why is Mosh your running back 2? You must have took more receiver. Like you took like
he took Calvin Ridley as his 5th wide receiver.
Okay, so you took your 5th receiver before you took. Okay,
yeah.
Well, so what was
I don't mind that, but
what was
talk
the
about
thinking
that.
though? You just like the talent.
Yeah, I like the talent.
He was
I like
trying
the
to snipe
fact.
me. He didn't want me to get Calvin Ridley.
I like the talent.
I ain't gonna lie, I want it really too. So I
You
want
should
to
be
hear what
higher.
Tell me what happened.
Once D-Hop went down and could be out for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
6 weeks is significant.
Yeah, I agree.
6 weeks from the
once-
time of injury, not 6 weeks from the
Even
I
so,
know,
that's
but
like
that's
week 3.
Yeah, like that's a lot
And
of
then,
time
he
to
probably
be
has to
out.
ramp back up and everything.
Yeah, like that's a lot of time to be out. And so I think with the other receiver who we're saying could take targets away from Calvin Ridley being out for 6 weeks when we're putting in, like installing a new offense, installing and game planning for a new season, that's important.
I gotta tell you, I was on a Calvin Ridley island. I really was. Just the same way you talking about Dale, look, you was a 6th round. Calvin Ridley, you was an 8th round pick, bro.
Yeah.
Now you trying to come at me in the 6th round?
Yeah.
Like,
No, it's crazy. I actually have a lot of both because I actually think the Titans offense could surprise. I think that I'm just a believer in that coach. I think he can come in and do some things.
Yeah.
Now we don't know what Levis is, but if Levis is anything,
Yeah.
then I think, I feel like we're taking the Titans receivers at their lowest value.
Yeah.
We're not taking them with the assumption they're going to have a good season.
they're high skilled players going in the back end of the 6th round, 7th round.
You know what's crazy?
Yeah.
And this is like kind of left field. I would love to have a discussion one day just talking about how every player's ADP is an ADP with the thought of them being on their high end or their low end or mid end. Because, players like Drake London, right?
Yeah.
We're drafting him with the assumption he's going to have a much better season than he's had before.
Yeah, ever.
High end.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah.
High end,
Yeah.
While, again, somebody like Ridley, we're drafting him that offense ain't going to do that well. Because if he hits, he's really going to be like a 3rd, 4th round value.
I would actually want to see that. You know what you should do?
I ain't going to do it.
I know. But
but tell me what I should do.
Yeah. You should get like an ADP board. Doesn't matter the format. Get an ADP board and then just color it like blue, white, or red.
Arts and crafts.
Yeah. Blue is we're drafting this guy at the low end.
Yeah.
White is we're drafting it
Average.
Yeah, average. And then red is we're
at
drafting
the bottom value.
Yeah. Or
That
no,
would be
red
kinda cool.
would be
Somebody do
fire.
that.
Red is a higher end. Blue is lower end.
Yeah. Or
Blue-
green.
yeah, blue-
green,
blue
green
hole.
would be higher end, right? Green? Or you trying to do like the
What are
flag?
we doing?
Oh, we can do the stock market. Yeah, we can do the stock market. We
Yeah,
can go, we
green.
can go stocks. Yeah, stocks probably makes it a little bit.
Yeah.
Green, and then what's the neutral stock? White.
White,
We
yeah,
go
white, yeah.
green, red, white.
Green way, right, yeah. It's easy to see.
Arrow
too.
up, green.
Guys, we're not doing it. What are we talking about? Let's talk about a little preseason.
That's actually a good exercise.
No, it is a good exercise.
You should do it.
I'm not going to do it.
You're not doing rankings. Do that.
All right, last topic of the night.
Get some crayons.
I got 2 kids at home. I got all the material. Don't get it twisted. I can do that tonight.
Last topic of the night. Let's talk about the preseason. Any games that stood out? Any performances that stood out? I know it's preseason, but a lot of rookie quarterbacks.
There's a fair amount to
Pull
talk
the games.
about.
There's a
fair amount to talk about.
All right.
So, a couple different things. Just in general, just like with a lot of news, okay, I'm just going to speak for myself, okay, not speaking, it is very, very difficult to remove my personal bias, okay, because I can watch something, it can just be, okay, yeah, it's confirming my priors, or I could watch something and, be very kind of analytical with it, and really, process it in a way where I do remove all bias opinion. Okay. And I really as I'm kind of going through it and thinking about a certain player and watching someone like Jaden Daniels, the first thing I do is I try to, what were my thoughts preseason. Okay. Yeah. And then I try to bring in with preseason. So the Commanders game, who the Commanders play? Commanders game,
Jets.
Obviously, he had the deep throw, which is great. We've seen that in college. That's nothing new, okay? We know that he can do that.
Running touchdown.
We saw the RPO. Not only do we know he can run, which is why, I've kind of been high on him, but I kept going back to, this Cliff Kingsbury offense. He had a running QB, so we got to see somewhat of what this offense could potentially look like. And what I remember from a guy who was drafting James Conner back then was that Kyler Murray, I think it was his first year. I don't know how many RPOs he just walked in for touchdown. And took that touchdown away from the running back. And so this is a potential scenario where you could see that because you got Eckler, you got Brian Robinson, you got guys who can really punch it in at the goal line. Okay. Yes, their O-line is shaky, but when you have a rushing QB, that can help neutralize that to some degree. I don't know where to rank their offensive skill players. I think sometimes we overrate those things because Jahan Dotson hasn't done anything.
You're right.
Terry McLaurin has been really just a wide receiver too. Zach Ertz is
old.
A strong wide receiver too. Zach Ertz is old, but has been old reliable. Ben Sinnott, I love Ben Sinnott. He's and then you got whoever is at the wide receiver 3. But when you compare that to other wide receiver rooms around the league, you're not really ranking them highly. Okay, so I still want to put it in perspective. And that kind of goes back to that whole Joe Burrow thing. If I see Jaden Daniels starting to go now round 8, round 9, and I'm seeing Joe Burrow go round 10, I'm going to be drafting a lot more Joe Burrow than I am going to be drafting Jaden Daniels. So
are you seeing Burrow falling or what?
Absolutely. In the last 2
Burrow's
drafts.
Falling?
Yes, in the main event. In our draft he fell. In the main event, I think I got him in the 11th round.
Okay.
So I just think that is just tremendous value. So yes, preseason, I think it's important to remove bias opinions. Know what you thought. Okay. Sometimes it can help reinforce. Sometimes it can be another data point to kind of get you to a conclusion. But you got to be careful about some of these things. Even with some of the usage, for instance, the Buffalo game. Okay, where Khalil Shakir started the game. So people kind of think, but then we also saw Curtis Samuel come in kind of afterwards. We saw Coleman kind of play 100% of the snaps because he's playing maybe the X position. We saw Kincaid play a majority of the snaps with Dawson Knox, but some of this is okay. Keon Coleman's a rookie wide receiver. Maybe they just want to get him looks. Some of this is Curtis Samuel's coming over to a new offense. So we want to kind of get him acclimated. Some of this is, hey, we want to work on certain packages, okay? We want to really work on this package, and we want to use this game. We've been practicing with this team the entire week, and now in the game we want to see this package live. So I think you have to be very careful with usage. I think you got to be extremely cautious with usage as far as this guy played X percentage. I think it's helpful, and it's information that I want to know. I actively look for it and actively search for it, but I think you gotta really, and it's tough. You gotta really try to figure out how you can put it in context of the entire player, team, OC, head coach as an whole, because every little situation is different. I'll give you another example. Sorry, I know I'm rambling on this. But watching the Redskins game, and one thing that was interesting to me was the usage at the goal line in the red zone. Okay, I think it was the first drive or maybe the second drive. You had Brian Robinson. Bro. Yeah, Commanders. Sorry. You had Brian Robinson get a couple of carries.
We just get started.
Yeah, you had Brian Robinson get a couple of carries in the red zone, and then you had Eckler come in and get a couple of carries in the red zone, and then eventually, RPO action, Jaden Daniels runs it in. So you could look at that in a lot of different ways. You could look at it that way. Are they going to use Austin Eckler in the red zone now? Is Austin Eckler more a third down back because he primarily played third down? Whereas, we're reading, some beat reports or some guys who are attending practices telling us that it's more like, Brian Robinson's playing, first 2 series and then, Eckler comes in for a third series. Less so, more than, he's just like the primary third down guy.
Gotcha.
And then so the way I kind of bring this all together is I'm like, okay, who's the OC? The OC's Cliff Kingsbury. They want to move at a fast pace. What has he done in the past? Well, in the past he had running back where he would just kind of leave him in for 3 downs. And if you're moving at a fast pace, you're not necessarily wanting to have somebody come in and out of the game. You want to move at a fast pace. So
keep people in for drives instead of plays.
Exactly. And you also don't want to tip someone off or tip a defense off that like, okay, Eckler's coming to the game, it's off the pass. So I don't know for sure that that's going to be the case, but with everything that I saw, I think where I'm at in that running back room is that I do believe that Brian Robinson will be not a bell cow, but will be the number one, the 1A, clear 1A, and he'll get like 2 series. I would anticipate that like they may switch off the goal line, but he'll probably have maybe the majority of the red zone work, but that he will see some third down work, and that he will potentially see some.
That
design
sounds similar
passing
to the Zeke Pollard heyday.
Yeah.
Yeah, when it was like they would have series.
Yeah, exactly. So everything's every situation a little bit different, but it could be tough to sparse through all the information.
Of that just to talk about B. Rob and Eckler.
Right.
We ain't going through any other team.
But I do want to go over the Lions and Giants game just a little bit specifically. Tyrone Tracy was actually playing during that time. Eric Gray scores 2 touchdowns, has 48-yard run. We were talking about who's going to be sort of, the second running back after Devin Singletary, and ultimately the running back who may supplant Devin Singletary. I know we've been talking about, Tyrone Tracy, Eric Gray, and then
Turbo,
and then you even brought up Turbo, who that name is growing on me now. Like I'm gonna, hey, Turbo running back, that's growing on me. But something that is not being said is that Eric Gray not only he had 52 yards on 4 carries, but he also had about 4 or 5 catches as well, whereas we didn't necessarily see that with Tyrone Tracy. Is that something that we need to monitor going forward when we're talking about running backs who, can be in on third down?
Let's not forget, Tracy was a receiver.
Yeah.
I got you. Yeah. But if they're not using him as such, then...
I would say that I'll put it like this. If both of these guys had 10 carries and went for 0 yards and had 0 catches, I don't think it would mean anything. And I didn't really like the 48-yard run. I mean, that's a long run. I don't know how much it means. I think it's more significant that to start the game, Tracy was in first.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that.
So what you want, but now he obviously has an injury, but if he didn't have an injury, what you would want to see in the second preseason is like who starts it. And sometimes they go back and forth. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they like, okay, you get to start this one. Now we're going to let him start this, and then we're going to see how he does with the. Mm-hmm. But if Daniel Jones plays, I think that is more of a telling point that if they start off with Devin Singletary, okay, who comes in next? To me, I'll put a lot of weight in if the first team offense is out there and Devin Singletary comes out of the game, who's the next running back up?
We don't know now.
And that we won't know. We won't know. But I'm just kind of like laying out a situation where I feel like I'll get more from that than just like Tracy going in first versus Eric Gray. Because I am like now team Tracy. I just watching his tape. Mm-hmm. And again, he played running back in high school, so it's not like he has no running back history. He played running back in high school. I think he played everything in high school, but he actually saw a lot of carries at running back in high school. Mm-hmm. So the position is not all that new to him. But I love the way he runs. Whether or not that translate, time will tell. I'm hopeful and happy that this is just a low ankle sprain, though.
Yeah. All right,
so
guys.
wait, I got my guys.
All right.
Since we're talking about preseason, so there's a few guys I can speak on, and I'll try. I'm sorry, I should have been prepared.
Oh shoot, I'm on the clock.
So like last week, I gave y'all a whole bunch of names. A fair amount of those names actually did pretty good this past weekend.
You did,
preseason games. So that was,
but you hit on a lot.
Yeah, that was actually pretty good, and that was a little bit surprising. And just to reiterate, I spoke with Kevin Harris for the Patriots, Casey Washington, Andre Ecevis for the Bengals, Royce Freeman, who's hurt right now, unfortunately, Doris Fontaine for the Lions, who I don't think he did anything, but Amari DeMercado, who I still want to beat the jump on. Van Jefferson was getting a lot of PT. Johnny Wilson, even though Paris Campbell's back, so we got to watch that. Pierre Strong, Juwan Johnson, Turbo, and Cedric Tillman. But I have a list of guys this week, and again, like last week, they kind of can be a little left field. This is going to be more so for my Dynasty crowd, and just like I said last week, You know, if you're a dynasty player, maybe these are guys, if you have room on your roster, just kind of add to the back end of your roster. For redraft leagues, you know, I'm not saying draft or even pick these guys up, just kind of be aware of these guys. So if any opportunity potentially presents itself to the season, you kind of already have an idea what their skill set is. And you'll maybe make more of a priority to pick them up, you know. But no specific order, but Jalen Naylor, I don't know if y'all familiar with that name for the Vikings. Getting a lot of buzz, regardless of preseason, like all the training camp, they've been talking him up. And he's actually been running with the ones as far as the wide receiver 3. Jordan Whittingham, I think that's his name, UT dude, with the Rams. Not only have they talked him up, now they've talked him up for a while, but you know I've always looked at it as where's his role, right? They got 3 guys already established, but he played this last game against the Cowboys, and it just looked like he looked like Puka to me.
He really did.
He looked like
he really
I was
did.
like, he's not Puka.
He really did.
But this guy is like a Puka clone or something because he's doing everything Puka is, you know? So, I mean, they gave him like 10 targets in a preseason game. So it was just crazy watching that. Carson Steele for the Chiefs, running back. He is challenging that running back 2 slot behind Pacheco.
Okay.
Be familiar. He's a white boy.
Okay.
He kind of reminds me of Peyton Hillis.
Oh man, I
Marion
love
Barber.
Peyton Hillis.
/Marion Barber with the Cowboys.
Oh, Peyton Hillis is going to be so mad.
Okay, so a thumper.
Yeah, a thumper. Not as big, but he's a thumper.
What's his name again?
Carson Steele.
Carson Steele.
Yeah, I forgot what. He's a undrafted rookie. You know, so yeah, be on the look at that guy. Diami Brown, you were talking about the Commanders wide receiver 3. That's actually who was playing wide receiver 3. And he was playing outside with McLaurin. Yeah. And Dotson was playing the slot.
Which is odd to me, but
yeah. So keep an eye on that. I apologize as a Texans fan, you know. I'm okay with apologizing as a Texans fan. But Cam Akers, when he first signed with the Texans, I said he was a Cam body. He is now challenging for that running back 2 slot.
I think he's the RB2. That's what I was saying. I think he's the
challenging
RB2.
for that running back 2 slot. And, you know, we know, I mean, again, he's coming off injury. I don't know if it was ACL or Achilles.
2 years, right?
Well, he was injured last year, too.
That's right.
You know?
Well, I don't know. Did he get injured or he just got
hurt.
cut?
I just don't remember what injury he had. But he got hurt. I mean, he's looked good. Yeah. He's looked good. So
one thing that we missed on this show, though.
And sorry, I mean, I was kind of half joking, but not really. Like midway through the season, like, and I just have not had a good feeling about Joe Mixon. Like the way Cam Akers looked, to me, I could easily see this transitioning to an RBBC. Maybe. Let's not look at Joe Mixon. Let's not look at Joe Mixon as like this elite bell cow running back that can't be usurped or that can't like be, you know. Remember because
of the name.
We looked at Dameon Pierce last year. I know you didn't, but we did as a community.
Nobody would listen to me.
Yeah, we looked at Dameon Pierce as this like elite running back or this like, you know, the clear cut. And we were kind of just like, oh, that's just Devin Singletary. He played for the Bills. He was kind of like in an RBBC and not really much. Cam Akers was a dude before the Achilles, right?
He looked real good with the Rams.
Yeah, so I would just say like, you know, I definitely keep Cam Akers on the radar.
Yeah, so Cam Akers, Justin Ross.
You have some more?
I'm bringing him back.
Wait. Let me hear one more time.
All right, guys.
Let me hear one more time. And I'm not even saying Justin Ross is like right now he's the guy. But he's getting more and more opportunities. Yeah. He's getting more and more snaps with the ones. Hollywood is hurt.
Man, do not let Justin Ross break out. Y'all will not hear the end of it.
You know, he's just getting opportunity, and once it happens, I mean, I think he'll take off. You know, so he's again dynasty guy. Just kind of keep it in the bench.
There's more?
Yes, there's a fair amount more. I'll try to go quick.
No, take your time, man. Take your time.
I mean, we're over time.
Sion Vaki for the Lions.
No,
he was like a 4th round pick. So he actually has fairly good. He has better draft capital than like your Ray Davises, your Bucky Irvins. You know, Lions. The thing about it was, I think he played defense and running back. So when he was drafted, like it was like, what are y'all what position y'all drafting him for? Yeah. But he's on the Lions, and I'm bringing him up only because of the Gibbs injury. Yeah. And Chris, I'm sorry, I'll try to go quicker.
All right.
Owen Wright, Ravens running back. He's vying for that running back 3 slot. He's competing with Rasheen Ali.
Yeah, Rasheen
He's
Ali.
the one actually getting the work.
Yeah.
You know, so keep my eye on him. Jared Patterson, Chargers.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
Patterson,
Yeah.
great college, profile. Was with the Commanders last year or whatever. He's been getting a lot of work with the ones with the Chargers right now. So keep him in mind. Noah Brown. And I bring Noah Brown because Noah Brown is locked in as the wide receiver 4 for the Texans. If any of those wide receivers for the Texans get hurt, he immediately slots into the wide, and he becomes part of that high octane offense.
Yeah, waiver wire pickup.
And
absolutely.
now, you pick that type of player up early rather than wait for it to happen. Because out of all the other depth receivers, he that type of profile is somebody that can actually bear fruit pretty quickly. Johnny Munt, the tight end for the Vikings.
Yeah.
He's the one that's playing tight end 1 right now. Because T.J. Hockenson is not going to come back for a little while, maybe mid-season.
Yeah. And they're using Oliver as a blocking tight end,
Oliver's
which
not,
I don't understand
starting,
why.
So, and then last but not least, I was going to say Eric Gray, but we already talked about Eric Gray.
I got one.
Good.
Because the Denver wide receiver 2, who knows if it's going to be a fruitful position, but I mean it'll have some value. Really, I think for the most part been just guessing Mims, and does not look like Mims. Mims is just running deep routes again. He's not really doing anything. And Tim Patrick saw quite a bit of work with the first team in a preseason game. Looks pretty healthy. I think is definitely some time removed from his initial injury. And we remember pre-injury they gave him the contract, and he looked good.
He looked good.
He looked really good. But because Sutton and Judy had the draft capital and they had the names, no one really wanted to kind of give him his respect.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I don't mind taking Sutton, and I see him fall a lot. And sometimes I'm just like, I'll just let him fall. I have some shares, and I can definitely see him as a value. But I've just never been the Sutton guy, just seeing him as this guy who can really kind of be a movable chess piece, run a lot of different routes. He just seems like more of just sort of kind of just a big body, field stretcher, not necessarily field stretcher, but contested catch guy, big body guy in the red zone. But Tim Patrick, to me, if healthy, is a guy who can run more of, I don't want to say Michael Thomas routes. I don't want to give that analogy, but someone who could line up in the slot, be moved around a little bit, and be more of a safety blanket in the sense that, okay, if I got 2 seconds to find someone who's open, Sutton's probably not going to be open in 2 seconds. It's probably going to be a body on him, you know. And if I'm running Sean Payton's offense, I'm looking for the guy that's open. I think it's likely more to be Tim Patrick than any, because I think Mims, they're going to be having to run deep and post and clear out routes.
In that same vein, real quick, Devon Vale, he's the rookie, 6th-round pick, but he's a 26-year-old rookie, so older guy. But just for the Dynasty folks. Chris, do you want to mention the listener draft as far as us maybe doing another one before we get off, or are you ready to kick us out?
No. It's all good. So it looks like we're getting really close to doing a second listeners draft. So if you guys do want to participate, please email us at
I don't know.
First underscore.
I think it's stayready115 at Yahoo or Gmail.
I don't know how we came.
It'll be down here.
It'll be right here. Look, it's right here. It's flashing.
But also want to, if you are joining the listener league, we don't want this just to be a listener league of okay, we get you guys come in, we draft, and it's a tough draft because everybody's smart and everybody. No, we want this to be very interactive. Okay, this listener draft, we want and require. No.
We talk about that in communications.
All right.
They'll find out.
Send
us your email.
Last things that we left on the cutting room floor. We did not talk about co-starters and what the hell that means and how to navigate that, what a co-starter is, specifically with Miami and with the Titans.
Here's the thing about depth charts. First of all, you have to understand the teams don't make the depth charts.
I got you. We'll talk about it next episode. So we left that on the cutting room floor. And there was something else that I think we left on the cutting room floor that we were supposed to talk about that one of you guys want to talk about. But we'll add that to the next show as well. But I definitely we keep hearing this term co-starters. And I don't remember hearing it as much as now, so I want to talk about how do we navigate that.
The team is not making the depth charts.
No, I'm saying, but coaches are saying co-starters and not necessarily.
No, I haven't heard that.
Oh, yeah, I've heard that a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, in different ways, like the Green Bay, head coach is basically, when someone asks him, well, who do you think is the wide receiver one? He says, I hate that term, wide receiver.
That's different. That's just talking about
But that, I mean,
hierarchy.
But that's, I mean. the way, like, just hearing the way that he describes it and the way he views it is like, that to me is insight. Like, there is no wide receiver one. Like, we are teaming, like,
Texans say the same thing, though.
Yeah, so, like, that's important because, like, those guys, you know, you just got to be aware of that. You just got to be aware of that. You got to be aware of that potential volatility.
All right, guys.
By the way, real quick, Chris, we disagree with you talking about the Lions are going to regress on offense.
They are, but it's all right.
That was Chris's take, not me and Abib's.
All right. That's our episode this week. Please like, rate, subscribe. We're out.
I said, God, give me a warning. Please take me for the morning so I leave more disappointments than I ever will appointments. Give a fuck about your feelings, rub it in. This your ointment can't depend on the oinker. Find your pick in the blanket, find a stick. Through your anus, give a rib for your statement. This shit in the pavement that is on. Word is born, I've been on like a track phone. I ain't going back home. Say what I do, trick. Yeah, I think I'm taxed on.